Hey everyone, it's me, Desiree Marie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the hidden dangers of semi-freeforming. I know a lot of you all are looking at me like, girl, what is semi-freeforming? Well, to those of you that don't know what is semi-freeforming, I guess it's kind of a term that we've came up with here on YouTube, because I don't know if anyone else really refers to their hair as semi-freeforming unless they watch YouTube. But semi-freeforming is when you do not retwist your hair very often. You may retwist once, twice a year. Otherwise, you leave your hair alone and you pretty much just go off on your day and maintain your locks, you know, the way that you do, without the retwisting and the very strenuous methods that we do to keep our roots neat and tidy. So this video is in no way to bash anyone with semi-freeform locks, semi-freeform dreadlocks, semi-freeform dreads, whatever you refer to yourself as. I'm just letting you guys know based on a little bit of experience, and I haven't even gone to the point of just 2 retwists a year, but based on experience where I do not retwist as often and I try to kind of go semi-freeform, I have actually found some things to be true where it comes up to hair care and actually damaging your hair when you do not retwist very often. And not only do I experience this, but many of you also as well. Some of you talk about different issues that you have concerning your hair, and it might just be because you just need a retwist, or you just need to retwist a little bit more routinely. I'm not saying that you need to retwist every 2 weeks and that your semi-freeform journey is absolutely going to nothing, but I am saying that based on these points, just to consider retwisting at least once or twice more per year, and your hair will love you for it. But I'm just going to talk about a few things that you may be risking when you semi-freeform and when you do not retwist as often. There are some hidden dangers, so I'm just gonna let you know. As always, I wrote down my notes. You already know, so let's just get on to the rest of the video. So the first thing that you may be risking are matted roots. This is so common to all of us. We already know how we get matted roots. Matted roots happen when you do not separate each lock and allow for the scalp to keep its parting spaces. So therefore you have new growth roots that are now intermingling and becoming one with the roots next to them. The roots of a different lock, they are intermingling with one another. The danger in this is, one, matted roots. If you're not going all the way freeform, then this will bother you, because this could be a headache. Not only a headache, you know, physically when you actually have to pull these locks apart, but when the roots intermingle, they have a way of drawing together the locks together. Your roots have a way of bringing your locks together little by little, especially when you don't even realize. So when you're just leaving your roots alone and you're washing your hair and you're not separating the locks, your roots are actually what they call marrying one another. And so this contributes to what we call a two-headed dragon. If you don't know what a two-headed dragon is, this is simply 2 locks that used to grow individually, but because of the matted roots that happen and that are left for a long period of time, the 2 locks are now joined together at the root. And when you continue to not touch up the roots growing up from, you know, into the locks actually come together. Now, the ends may not be together, but the roots are. And so they grow together, strung together as one root at the lock. But then when you get to the tip of the lock, you have what is called a two-headed dragon, which is 2 locks that join together and they are solidified at the root. They become 1 lock at the root because they're all intermingled and joined together. And you end up with 2 locks that are now like kind of randomly growing separately at the root, at the length of the lock. I can show you a visual representation. I don't have any two-headed dragons, but I can show you. All right, so here, if I allow my roots to just be, they will actually grow together like this, become one lock, and what I'll end up with is a lock that ends up looking like this. It's together at the root, but it's got two locks at the end, if that makes any sense at all. So the danger in this is that the length of your locks are weak because of the fact that they came together at the root and now they join together to become one lock at the root, and at the ends they're randomly, you know, just growing separate. This can lead to weakening of the locks, and that's how some of us end up with locks that actually pop off. They weaken, they grow together, and they just weaken and pop off. Yeah, so this is just one of the dangers of having semi-freeform locks, that you do not touch up the roots and the roots become matted and intermingled. So that leads to my next point that I kind of touched in the first point, popping locks. When it is time to pop those locks, when it is time to pop the locks after your roots have intermingled and matted up, it is going to be painful, just to say the least. The way that I'm thinking right now, it's giving me pain. Like, it's making me feel frightful for you. It's going to be very painful. So of course, us men and women with locks, we have to wash our hair, we have to mist our hair, we have to moisturize our hair. And so when we introduce moisture to our hair has a way of intermingling and matting up all over again, especially when you have what is considered 4C natural hair. So this hair is going to intermingle, shrink up, and actually, you know, produce a more solid lock. And you will see this especially if you are baby locked and you're in your first year, and it seems like every time you wash your hair or you spray your hair with water, your locks look like they're becoming more mature. This is because of the moisture actually being introduced to your hair. It helps to shrink the hair, like when you were loose natural and your hair always shrunk when you sprayed it. It shrinks up and it develops into a lock. Now, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because not only does it shrink up and help the length of your lock, but it will also shrink up and produce kind of a mess at your roots, in your roots, if it is not maintained. When you wash your hair and you don't separate it at the roots, you don't separate each lock and maintain each lock's parting space, what ends up happening is matted roots. And when you finally decide that you want to maintain your parting spaces, you're inevitably going to have to pull the locks apart, popping locks, like what we call it. We pop the locks, and so that can be very painful. And so that also leads to the next point. When you're popping the locks, you're actually weakening the base of your locks, especially if you have a lot of matted hairs that have not been maintained, your roots have not been maintained for a long period of time. What will end up happening is when you finally decide to go ahead and separate the locks at the root, you are weakening the root. And so this is why a lot of us struggle with thinning roots and locks that do not seem like they are thick. You are actually popping or pulling out hair that could have been that could have become a lock had you have retwisted and just maintained the roots. So every time our hair grows, we see it. You know, right now I haven't retwisted my locks in about a month, and I'm due to retwist. So when your hair grows out, you see it from the new growth. And so the new growth is pretty much your loose natural hair all over again. Your new growth is not locked hair. Your new growth needs training. And so how do we train? We retwist. Retwisting is not only a way to maintain a precise kind of neat and tidy aesthetic when it comes to our hair. It's also a way to train the locks to grow in the way that you want them to grow. So when you're retwisting, you're actually training the locks to grow in a circular motion in the way that you are retwisting, the way that you are twisting the locks. So this is why it is important to retwist. Even if you don't retwist all the time, it is important to retwist, because retwisting is not only keeping your locks neat, but it is training your locks, especially if you are baby locks or you are within the first year and a half of your lock journey. You realize more than ever that your hair needs to be trained to become a lock, because your hair doesn't know what to do. It's just out here. It's either a twist, a comb coil, or braid, or whatever way that you started. Your locks are just like, you started your locks in whatever method, but your locks need to know how you want it to grow, or it's not going to go the way that you want it to. It's just going to do whatever it wants. And that is a beautiful thing if you are free-forming. However, I'm talking specifically to you all who are more focused in growing traditional locks. So another thing that I realized, as I have not retwisted in about a month now, is that when I don't retwist often, even now I'm 3 years locked and I still have to retwist. But I realized that these last few weeks that I have not retwisted, I actually have a few locks in the back that are like the hairs are growing apart from the lock. And I know a lot of you guys ask me these questions all the time. Why do I have hair that's growing outside of the lock? Why is it happening like this? It's because possibly you need to retwist. You need to train that hair to get back into the swing of things. Because like I said, when you get new growth, your new growth needs training. You have to train your new growth the same way that you did in the first time, the first time when you started your locks. You gotta train the new growth to become the lock that it will be once your hair grows down. Because if you guys take a look, say at this part of my lock, this was once new growth to me, but I had to retwist in order for it to become the shape that it is. Or if I didn't retwist, it would not take shape at all. It would probably be a flat lock. Another hidden danger to not retwisting is flat locks. I know this. Look, I know this to be so true in my journey, because I realized, and referring back to the same point, when you don't retwist, you are not training your hair. Your hair needs training. And so your hair is gonna do whatever you allow it to do, or whatever you don't allow it to. So if you're not retwisting, your hair is still taking shape, but it's more taking shape of the things that you do to it, and the things that you like, say you put your hair in a ponytail, it's taking shape. The new growth is taking shape of that ponytail you put your hair in. And so that becomes what is called a flat lock. Let me just show you a flat lock of mine. This lock right here is a flat lock, because when you see it like as it is, it's thick. It's one of my thickest locks. But then when I turn it sideways, you see just how flat. See the big difference? It's flat. It's a flat lock. Like I can run my 2 fingers through and it's like a smooth flat lock from like almost root to tip. And this is because I wear my hair in ponytails, especially more when I started my lock journey. I was wearing my hair up and doing different things with my hair, pulling it up, pulling it back, doing updos and all of that stuff. I also have a few flat locks in the front as well, because that is actually like around the perimeter is where I pull my hair up into the ponytail. So those, like the perimeter of your head, is where you might see more flat locks, because those are the locks that are being pulled up. Meanwhile, you have locks in the middle that are also being pulled up, but it's not with as much like tension as around the parameter of your head. I hope that makes sense. Flat locks are because you have not trained those locks to either grow into a cylinder. You have not trained them to grow into a cylinder. So they basically take shape of the hairstyles you do, the way you tie your head at night, the way you wear hats all the time, the way that you put your head down on the pillow when your hair is wet. Your locks are taking shape of whatever you do to it if you don't actually intentionally cause it to twist and grow into a circular motion, into a circular shape. And so those are the main reasons why you probably want to retwist your hair, and you do not really want to semi-freeform for a long period of time, longer than you probably should. In everything, I always recommend to take notice of your hair, take notice of what your hair needs, and handle it accordingly. So I know a lot of us brothers and sisters, we don't really want to have the neat look, the tidy look. We want to leave our hair alone. I love having my hair like this without it being twisted. I love the styles that I can get. I mean, I can go a while without retwisting and love my hair and the way that it looks. However, it is very important to twist at certain times, just to make sure that you are keeping up with your hair maintenance and making sure that that new growth is being trained all over again. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it inspired and motivated you to perhaps think twice about not retwisting so often, and kind of start implementing some differences in your hair routine that will help you to grow the locks that you want to grow. So yeah guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I love you so much. Hit the subscribe button because I upload almost every day cool tidbits and tricks and things like that. I love connecting with you all, and I always love producing quality content for you to inspire and motivate you on your journey as well. So hit the subscribe button. I'm also on Instagram. It's Desiree _. Hit me up on there as well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. I love you. Later. Bye.